Hi, my name is Michelle Burkett. I'm an assistant professor at Northwestern University. I'm one of the project PIs on the Network Canvas grant, and I want to talk to you today about Network Canvas. So this video is the first of a series of videos that is based on the Network Canvas workshop, which was held at Network's 2021 conference. This particular video is meant to provide an introduction to the project, while some of our other videos will be diving in a little bit deeper into our other apps, Interviewer and Architect, and then also into how to use Network Canvas data. So today I want to provide a quick overview of some of the underlying principles of Network Canvas to help orient you to the tool and maybe answer some questions about if this is the right tool for your study. So Network Canvas is a collection of 3 different apps which have been designed to work together to provide an easy workflow for social network researchers to capture data directly from their participants. The first of these apps is called Architect. So Architect is an application for researchers to visually design network interview protocols without the need for coding or for scripting. And then the next app I'm going to talk about is Interviewer. So while Architect is something that is primarily used by the researcher for designing interview protocols, Interviewer is an application which is engaged with by both the researchers and your research study participants. So Interviewer is what allows researchers to administer network interview protocols to study participants within a controlled environment. And then the third of these apps is called Server. And Server is an application for researchers to manage the interview deployment process, as well as gain some real-time insight into the progress of their data collection, and then also to export the data back for analysis. So it's really meant to be a linkage between Architect and Interviewer, but we're not going to be discussing Server within this collection of videos. One of the reasons for that is that we found that it can fit very specific use cases. In particular, it's great for larger studies where there's going to be a single data manager, but we found it actually unnecessary and for many folks who are getting started and being oriented to Network Canvas, as interview protocols can be directly deployed into Interviewer. You don't need Server in order to do that. And also participant data can be directly exported from Interviewer. So really, it makes a lot of sense to just begin with Architect and Interviewer, unless your study calls for Server. The next thing I want to say about the overall, design of Network Canvas, one of the first most important things is that it's really been designed for intuitive understanding. I mean that both that participants have an intuitive understanding of how to navigate themselves through a Network Canvas interview, but also an intuitive understanding for researchers. So we've put, in order to make this intuitive for a lot of folks, we've put a lot of effort into the visual design of our software. So that means both in terms of participant facing and researcher facing interfaces. We think of this as not just, an aesthetic veneer, but actually a really important feature that differentiates our approach. So, you know, our tool captures data about individuals and their social network through these intuitive, touch optimized interfaces. And we think by representing these abstract relationships visually and being able to interact with them on the screen, we think that these complex structural data becomes much more tangible for researchers, for participants, and simpler to capture. So, for example, both the Interviewer app and the Architect app, they both utilize graphical user interfaces with really easily comprehensible elements. Interview protocols are built by assembling protocol stages onto like a physical timeline screen that reflects the order that the interview stages appear within the protocol. And even the server app, it contains visual interfaces, including a dashboard to immediately monitor key study metrics as surveys are conducted. So we've really intentionally avoided software design, which would require any sort of scripting or complicated server configuration just to make this as accessible to the most participants and the most researchers as possible. Another important principle that we've tried to follow is to design to maximize flexibility. We've attempted to consciously resist embedding any kind of prescriptive notions of how to best capture social network data within our software design. So instead, we built a tool by focusing on the most fundamental building blocks of networks, so nodes and edges, versus focusing so much on specific types of variables. So we're leaving the specific nature of how the network will be captured up to the researcher themselves. We believe this allows our software to readily accommodate research where nodes can represent anything from not just people, but maybe places to concepts to social contexts, etc. We've also really focused our tool around a network data model. So nodes and edges are these first-class building blocks rather than variables, which might be the case in some other sorts of software. This, we think, allows researchers to really stick to network thinking when they're developing their study protocols. And the last thing I'd say is just that researchers are able to construct their own protocols themselves. They're able to customize their protocols entirely for their own needs. So within Architect, for example, when you're building your network protocol and designing your interview, what you're doing is you're selecting from a number of different interfaces, which we've designed to be optimized for the collection of specific kinds of data. So what you're seeing on your screen here are a number of different types of interfaces. The first one you're seeing is a name generator. There are several that you can choose from. The figure I'm showing right now is name generator using forms. There's also a number of different name interpreters. What you're seeing here is a per alter form, but there's a number to choose from. And then you can also then collect sociogram data, which will give you structural data between alters. And there's a number of ways to customize that as well. So, you can really have a lot of control as a researcher about, not just, the way that you're structuring and choosing, not just like the wording of the survey, but the look, the feel, the flow, the skip logic, and really customizing that for your own needs. The next principle I want to emphasize is that our tool has been designed to be given in person and to be interviewer assisted. So to maximize both data security and the participant experience of our tool, we've really designed our tool to be administered in person and with the help of an interviewer. That means that the program is downloaded and run locally off of an interviewer-controlled device. So that might be a computer, that might be a tablet, an iPad, it might be a laptop, whatever makes sense for your particular study. What this allows is that offline data capture is no problem. While you'll need an internet connection likely to be transferring data off of the machine, to actually do the data capture, being offline is no problem. Also, this means that by having an interviewer there to guide the participant, it allows the data capture screen to be as focused as possible around the data capture task instead of trying to give participants information that would help them navigate themselves through the interview. So we think this is a win-win. Another really important principle we tried to follow is that we knew that the key to sustaining this software would be that having the buy-in from the community, the input and the collaboration to keep this going. So because of that, the code itself is completely open source. The software is completely free to use. We've also established a 501c3 entity, the Complex Data Collective, or CODICO, to help support our tool. Network Canvas is licensed under GPL v3, which is a popular open source license. And you can visit us by looking at our GitHub, um, or, and if you're, want to know more about our development, or if you're more technically inclined, we would be more than happy to have individuals contribute to or to extend our work. So we're currently at the end of our 5-year NIH-funded project. Within those 5 years, we've done a number of different iterative releases, first starting our testing with a small group of users, which has gradually expanded out. And then this last December, we were very excited to release our full stable release. And so this is a really exciting time for us. And a lot of what we're focused on right now is dissemination of the software, helping users use it, and also thinking about just next steps. So we have a project under review currently that would help push us forward, our development forward with Network Canvas, and we'll see what happens with that. But in that time, it's been really wonderful to see the uptake of Network Canvas over the last numerous months. Between this is just like a very short list of some of the folks that we know that are implementing Network Canvas and social network data capture. Some folks are really experienced with network data capture, but some folks are new to it. So it's been really lovely to see all the different ways that folks are utilizing the tool. I also, have been so excited to see the uptake from our users just by looking at our web analytics. We've had over 5,000 unique users to our website since our stable release about 7 months ago, and it's been really international, which is just a fabulous. We can't be happier about it. So also just seeing how folks have been starting to program surveys in other languages, and it's been really wonderful. So we hope that this is just an introduction to, the project overall, and then also some of our thinking that has guided the design, and maybe some of these things will help you decide if this is the appropriate project for you. And I encourage you to stay tuned to the next video to learn a little bit more about Interviewer and actually what it looks like to actually deploy one of these interviews. Thank you so much.